Less Than Perfect Part 2!
What's up, guys? We're Less Than Perfect, and welcome to the IFSP SOCB, the inaugural Fielder Student Pastors South Oaks Campus Battle. Let's go!
Round 1 is a ZOE Classic. The pastors will hop their way through the hula hoop course, facing off in socially distant farkle battles along the way. Each farkle is international rules, which means 2 out of 3. The pastor who wins the farkle gets to keep hopping through the course. The loser goes to the back of the line. The first pastor to make it all the way through the hula hoops advances to the finale.
Hey, it's Team Olaf here.
What's up, guys? Team TikTok.
Team Gritty Green Gladiators here trying to get this dub. Let's do it.
I'm going against Blake. I beat him too many times.
Team Blake here, facing off against Thomas first. What he doesn't know is every time he's beat me, I've let him win. Now it's my turn.
Hola, mi gente. This is Team Joshua right here.
All right, Team Matty Ice here. What these guys are all forgetting is that I'm their boss, and I'm about to be the boss level and bring home this W. Let's get it!
Representing South Oaks. Let's go, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 2, and this is the golf cart bowling challenge. Here's how this is going to go. Each pastor is going to get 2 throws on the back of this golf cart to knock down as many pins as possible. The first throw is going to be with a gaga ball, and the second throw is going to be with a frisbee. The 2 pastors who knock down the most pins go on to the finale, and those that don't, well, they're eliminated. Team Olaf here. Listen, every loss is a lesson. So I've learned my lesson. I'm coming into this game right here to win it all.
It slipped out of my hands. Hey, not a great start for Thomas, but it's okay, because I know he's a winner. It's safe to say, Frisbee is not my sport. Hey, I didn't get a W in the first round, but it's okay. I got all I needed from Thomas. We got this, don't worry about it. Ain't no goose egg happening today.
And that's why they call me number 1.
All right, guys. So I didn't win the last game, but at least I didn't lose to Thomas. I'm not going to lose to him yet. No goose eggs, baby.
I'm not saying stop in German. I'm saying the number after 8.
I feel like I let myself down, everybody down. I was the last person that Zer beat before he won the hula hoop challenge. All I gotta do is do better than 0 and do better than 1, and I give my shot at the finale. We'll see. watching. I can't talk right now.
All right, you gritty green goblin gladiators team. A lot of people have been missing today, and I'm not gonna say I'm the least athletic, but I was a swimmer in high school, so we'll see how that translates to throwing. That was rough.
Get the Zero Club in here. Come on, Kyle, get in here.
So, this is Team Goose Egg right here.
Yes, sir.
Doing it hard, man. You're doing big.
What do you get if you get 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals the 3 of us? Good luck in the finale, fellas.
For the finale, the 3 pastors will play a socially distant game of one-on-one basketball. Each pastor will have a glove on the shooting hand and a broom in their offhand to play socially distant defense. The first pastor to 3 points wins the battle.
All right, Team TikTok, we about to get this home court advantage. I practice on this rim every single day.
They doubted me, but we made it through with 1 pin. Let's get this W.
All I know is I got 9 pins, but I only need 3 points, so here we go.
We need a booth review. So what we're gonna do real quick is the rules committee is making a little huddle here to decide if in fact that was a goaltend by Joshua and if a point should be awarded to Blake or not. So we're gonna see real quick, look at the review, and we will make a decision here momentarily. Upon further review, the rules committee has confirmed that the call on the field or court, this athletic facility shall stand. Goaltend by Joshua, 1 point awarded to Mr. Blake Anderson. Well, it is my honor and privilege, although I do it with a disappointed heart. Perhaps this O is the goose egg that I put up. But this is the SOC trophy that is awarded to Mr. Blake Anderson. Great job, Blake. You can put that up in your office when you get to go back there. But as for you guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure if you're not already a Fielder student subscriber that you subscribe and like this video so that you can get information and be alerted when new exciting videos are coming out right here on this YouTube channel. But as for now, I want you to go ahead and stand up because we've got a God who sent Jesus, who didn't put up a goose egg, but rose again in victory for you and me. So stand up and let's get ready to worship the King who's given us the victory. Let's go, you guys!
But it won't prosper. When the darkness falls, it won't prevail. 'Cause the God I serve knows only how to triumph. And my God will never fail. Oh, my God will never fail. And I'm gonna see a victory. name of Jesus. Every war he wages, he will win. And I'm not backing down from any giant, 'cause I know how this story ends. Yes, I know how this story ends. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. Yeah, for the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh, the battle belongs to you. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Hey. When you take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Hey. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take, oh, you take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Oh, you take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. Yeah, for the battle belongs to you, Lord. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good.
You know what I've come to find out about myself when it comes to unexpected things? The reason why I don't like unexpected things is because I didn't expect them. And I know that's kind of silly, but the fact of the matter is that's ultimately why we don't like unexpected things, is because we never saw it coming. We were expecting something else. In fact, one of the things, the greatest disappointments in my life have always been when I've had an expectation for something else and then the unexpected happens. Those expectations or those dreams are unmet. One of my greatest dreams of my adult life is to own a house that had a flat driveway and had a basketball goal. And this dream came true in April of 2016 when my wife and I bought this house, 4704 Hidden Oaks Lane. And in fact, this was such a big dream of mine, my wife actually documented it on Instagram. Here's the post that Lauren made of my first shot. Now, it isn't important whether or not that first shot went in. What is important is that dreams do come true. And I was getting to shoot there in my driveway with my brother-in-law. And my brother-in-law, Dustin, is an unbelievable guy. We've got a great friendship, and this is one of our favorite things to do whenever we're together. And so on Christmas of 2016, we're out there shooting on our basket. And it's time to come in to eat lunch and then get ready for the kids to go to bed so that then we can carry on with the Christmas activities. So Dustin and I enjoy this so much. We make plans that once we're done eating and I get the kids to take a nap, then we can go back outside and shoot some more. Because, of course, it's Texas. It was beautiful weather on Christmas Day. Shorts and t-shirt weather. It was awesome. So one of the things that you'll find out when you become a parent one day is when you are putting your kids to sleep, the best way for you to get them to go to sleep is to actually fall asleep yourself. And so I'm laying down with my little girls and I fall asleep. Unbeknownst to me, while I'm sleeping, Dustin decides he wants to take a rest as well. And so he goes outside, and just like you see in this post, in this picture, he thinks the best way for him to rest would be by taking his hammock and hanging one side of it up to that tree that you see there, and then also the other side of the hammock to the basketball goal. Seems like a pretty good idea, right? Because that basketball goal is probably thick and firm, and there's no problem with that at all. So he hooks it all up, everything looks good, and as soon as he jumps in the hammock, snap, the basketball goal breaks at the bottom and it begins to fall over. Fortunately for Dustin, it didn't fall on him, and fortunately for Dustin, it didn't fall on my dad's brand new F-150 sitting in the driveway. It fell perfectly in between the two. But now Dustin doesn't know what to do. The unexpected has hit his life. So he comes inside and he waits for me to wake up. And when I wake up, I get my shorts on, I get my shoes on, I run out, I go, "Hey, old Dust, you ready to go shoot some more hoops? Let's do it, man. Let's get some buckets in my driveway." And he goes, "Okay." So we go outside, I grab the ball, the garage door goes up, I walk outside, and there's no basket. And I go, "What in the world?" And I look, and just like my broken dreams, I see shattered glass all across my driveway. And Dustin looks at me and goes, "I'm so sorry. I had no idea how to tell you." And he tells me what happened. And let me tell you, in that moment, I was bummed. I expected to go outside and to get buckets on Christmas Day, but the unexpected happened. Now, there's a happy ending to the story. Dustin felt terrible, and so he helped buy me a new goal and helped me install it. And so now I have a way better basketball goal, and all of my hoop dreams come true out on the driveway here at Hidden Oaks Lane. But the fact of the matter is, if you're anything like me, and I think you probably are, we hate it when we're expecting one thing, and before we know it, the unexpected invades our life. And the truth is, I know that you are going through far worse things than a broken basketball goal right now. If you look at the state of our country and everything that's going on with COVID-19, the unexpected has completely invaded our lives. And I know that that's happening in your life. Maybe a parent has lost a job that's making things really stressful in your home because you don't know how you're going to pay the mortgage or how your family is going to survive this. Some of you were hoping to get a scholarship from this last season in the spring as a senior, and you were looking forward to getting that scholarship to go do that baseball or track or whatever it is in the spring season there in college, and now that season isn't going to happen. Maybe your college plans have fallen through. Maybe you're just reeling from the fact that you were hoping all these plans you had for this summer now have been canceled. The unexpected has invaded our lives, but I want you to know that in every disappointment, in every hurt, in every storm in life, what you are going to discover is that God is absolutely good, and He uses every single unexpected thing in our life for His good. That's actually what our story is about that we're going to see in Mark chapter 4. So if you have your Bibles, turn to Mark chapter 4, and we're going to see that you and I can have confidence that in every unexpected hard thing in life, God is working it for his good. So turn to Mark chapter 4, and let's start reading here in verse 35. Here's what it says. It says, on that day when evening had come, he said to them, let us go across to the other side. And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was, and the other boats were with him. So this is Jesus. They've been doing their ministry, and he says to the disciples, hey, let's go across to the other side. And so I want you to just try and take a walk in the disciples' jandals here for a second and try to think about what they must have been thinking. They've left everything to follow Jesus. They've left their homes, they've left their families, they've left their towns because they're seeing Jesus do all these miracles. And all they know is that Jesus makes their life better. And wherever he goes, that's what they are. They're disciples. They are followers of Jesus. So where he goes, they follow. And so all they're expecting is to go do what they have been doing, which is just following Jesus, being his hype man, and seeing him do these incredible things. And in fact, Matthew's account of this in Matthew 8, verse 23, puts it totally matter of fact. This is what it says. It says, and when he got into the boat, his disciples followed him. That's what they were doing. And that means that their only expectation of this trip was that they were going to go from point A to point B and continue to see God do incredible things. But then I want you to know Jesus does one of three unexpected things that the disciples never expected. And I want you to write these three things down. The first thing that Jesus does that's completely unexpected for the disciples is this. He leads his disciples into a storm. Look what verse 37 says. Verse 37 says, and a great windstorm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat so that the boat was already filling. So here the disciples are, they follow Jesus, they're following him, and all they're anticipating is going and seeing him do more incredible things. The last thing they are expecting is for Jesus, the person that makes their life better, the person that's the Messiah, that's supposed to deliver them from all the trouble and all the things, all that it says in the Old Testament that the Messiah is supposed to do. He leads them into a storm. And this storm is so bad. Like in Matthew's account of the storm, he actually says that their boat was being swamped by the waves to the point where it's filling up with water. Now think about this. These guys are fishermen. They're no strangers to the sea. They know how to handle a boat in a storm. But this storm is overwhelming. It is swamping them. It's filling them. And as their boat fills with water, their hearts begin to fill up with fear. But as bad as it seems right now, as much as it seems like their expectations aren't being met, it's about to get even worse for the disciples. Because Jesus does the second most unexpected thing, and that is in the midst of their storm, Jesus is sleeping. Look what Mark 38 says. It says, but he was in the stern, he being Jesus, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and said to him, teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? Now think about this. They are in this storm in a point where they are certain that it's going to end up in their collective demise, and they run to Jesus, the one person that can help them, and they see him asleep. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you serious, Jesus? You're asleep? And not only is he asleep, but that detail there I think is so funny. It says he's asleep on the cushion. Like it doesn't say a cushion. They had one cushion, and it probably came from Peter's Aunt Hadessa, that it was a special cushion, and Jesus had taken it, and he's asleep on the cushion, the one cushion they had. And they flip out. Even to the point where you notice there, they call him teacher. They begin to doubt everything that they believed about Jesus. He's asleep. He doesn't care about them. He's not in control. They don't call him Lord. They don't call him the Christ. They don't call him even, they just say teacher. Do you not even care that we're perishing? I wonder if you can relate to them. You've prayed, you've called out to God, and it just seems like he doesn't care about you. You're in the midst of this crisis, and you cry out to God, and do you even see me? Do you even care that I'm walking through these unexpected things, all my hopes and dreams? Do you even care that they've been taken away? Do you even care that my whole world is crashing down around me? Do you care that my parents Haven't stopped fighting since we've been in quarantine? Do you care that my dad is verbally abusive towards me? Do you care that I had these plans and these hopes and these dreams? I'm doing my best to follow you, and yet now all those things are taken away? Do you even care, God, that I hate myself? Do you even care that my parents are divorced? Do you even care? Do you see me? Well, if you're feeling those ways, I want you to know that you're in great company. Because the disciples, those closest to Jesus, that's exactly what they're feeling right now. They are discouraged, they are despairing, and they are certain. They're distressed. They're certain we're going to die. And God doesn't even care about us. But here's what I want you to know. God was in control. Jesus wasn't asleep to their cares. He knew what was going on, and he was with them in the midst of the storm, and he was completely in control. And look at the third thing that Jesus does that is completely unexpected to the disciples. Jesus says to the storm exactly what he says to those who follow him. Peace, be still. Look at how the story ends in verse 39. It says, and when he awoke, he rebuked the wind, and he said to the sea, peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said to them, why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith? And they were filled with great fear, and they said to one another, who is this that even the wind and sea obey him? Jesus was not unaware of what was happening. He was not out of control. He wakes up and he says to the storm, peace, be still. And just like Jesus says that to calm the storm, he says the same thing to calm his child. Look at what Psalm 46 says. Here's what it says. It says, God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. And verse 10 says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in all the earth. Listen, you guys, the exact same that Jesus says to the storm is the exact same thing he says to you and me when the unexpected wrecks our life. Peace. Be still and know that I'm God. I am in control, and I'm using every unexpected thing to actually exalt my name in the nations and to use it for your good. I'm going to be exalted in the earth because I work in the unexpected. Listen, I want to ask you this question. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but I want you to really search your heart and be willing to wrestle with this question. Has it ever occurred to you that everything that's unexpected to you is not unexpected to God? Has it ever occurred to you? What knocks you off guard, what takes you and is unexpected to you is not unexpected to God. He is in complete control. This is why I believe that God, in his goodness, primarily works through the unexpected, because the unexpected things give evidence that only God is at work, and he's the only one who can accomplish it. I mean, think about it. Who would trust the freedom of God's people to the youngest son of Jesse going up with 5 smooth stones and a sling to go up against an armored-clad giant champion who's killed hundreds of men with a spear and a sword? Who would expect? Who would do that? Well, I guess God would. I mean, who would take a Gentile prostitute and bring her into the family of God after she hid the spies at Jericho and make her one of 3 women that are counted in the lineage of Jesus? Well, God would. I mean, who would take a man with a stuttering problem and make him the voice that would be who God would use to write the first 5 books of the Bible and to lead the people out of Egypt into the promised land? Who would choose a guy like that? Well, God would. See, God uses the unexpected things in life to show and to prove that he is the one who's at work. All of these things are completely unexpected, but that's what God does. He works through the unexpected to show that he is to be exalted in the nations. And if we think about it, though, when we think about the unexpected message of the gospel, all of those other stories pale in comparison. Who would imagine that God would choose to send his son to a people that had totally rejected him? Even though we were created by God, we said, no, we're good enough on our own. We'll do it our own way. But God sent his son to us to save us, but in a way that no one expected. God entered into the fabric of humanity. But instead of coming as a conquering king, he came as a suffering servant. And after he lived a perfect life, he willingly went to the cross to absorb the full wrath of God for every single one of our sin, for every single one of our doubts, for all of our shame, for every single one of our failures. That's what Jesus went to the cross for. And after he had been killed, absorbed the full wrath of God, and died, they buried him in a tomb. They buried him in a tomb. And you know what they thought? They expected him to stay dead. But 3 days later, Jesus rose in victory, conquering sin, conquering death, and conquering every single one of our failures. And he arose in victory. And now he has given that victory to all of us who would put hope and trust in his name. You want to talk about unexpected? That is who Jesus is. And he works constantly in the unexpected because he wants us to know him, to trust him, and to believe in the gospel, knowing that he is good. And he's using every unexpected thing for our good to prove that God is the one who's at work. I mean, Jesus was dead in the grave. The disciples, everyone was wrecked. What could be more unexpected than this? This is the guy who's supposed to save us. But God uses the greatest unexpected thing in the world to actually give us victory when he rose again over sin and death. That proved that God was at work and Jesus was who he said he was, the Son of God. This is the beautiful message of the gospel. As I look at my life and I think about the things that God has brought me through, I am able to see every time the moments I'm able to see that God is the greatest is when the biggest unexpected things happen in my life. I mean, last year when my house flooded, I wasn't expecting that. My family was on a vacation at SeaWorld. And I get a call while I'm watching the beluga whale show, enjoying SeaWorld, that my home is becoming SeaWorld. And it's flooding and there's nothing I can do. It was completely unexpected and we're out of our house for 9 months. But now God used that to show that he was at work. And now I'm in this home preaching the gospel to you. Do you realize that God uses every unexpected thing for his good? And I got to see God's glory in that and see that only God was at work. Only God can get me back into this house. I remember when the doctor told us that Surrey Grace, our second child, was going to be born a stillborn. That she was in the 3rd percentile and it was a high chance that as soon as she was born, she would die. But now that child has got more life than you can imagine. She's got more life and personality in her little pinky than most people do in their entire body. She's full of life and full of vitality. She loves to tell people about Jesus. God uses the unexpected things in our life for our good because you know what he wanted me to do? He wanted me to trust him. And he wants you to trust him. In the midst of this coronavirus and everything being canceled and all this fear and uncertainty, God is saying, no, peace, be still. Do you trust me and know that I'm going to work this for your good? God wants us to know he's good. He wants us to believe that he has the victory, and he wants us to believe the gospel. And that is exactly what we need to do right now. We need to respond to the gospel, every single one of us. I know there are some of you watching right now that you feel like your life is completely out of control. And you're ruled by fear and anxiety, and you're looking for all these other things to satisfy you. I want you to hear Jesus say to you tonight, peace, be still. Trust me, I can be your peace. I can be your hope. I can make you brand new. I can be your salvation. But before I give you that salvation, you have to trust me to be your Lord. God's word says in Romans 10:9, if we confess with our mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in our heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. And so if you're ready to put your hope and your faith and trust in Jesus right now by believing the gospel, that you weren't good enough, but Jesus was good enough for you, I just want you to talk to God exactly like you would talk to me or somebody else. Tell him who he is. Tell him what you believe about him, and he'll hear your confession, and he'll see the belief of your heart. And his promise is that you will become a child of God. As Zer sings this next song, if you are ready to put your faith and trust in Jesus, do it right now. Then afterwards, I want you to DM us at P.L.U.R Students on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok and tell us that you've put your faith in Jesus. If you have a pastor's phone number, text us, call us. We would love to walk alongside you and give you next steps on how you can continue to grow in your faith in Jesus as a child of God. There are others of you that are watching and you are believers in Jesus. You've been walking with Jesus, but as these unexpected things have been happening in your life, you find yourself in the boat with the disciples and you're afraid and you're doubting, does God even see me? Does God even care? I want you to hear Jesus say to you tonight, peace, be still. I see you in the midst of your storm. And I'm allowing you to go through it for a little bit. Don't let your heart give way. Peace, be still. Know that I'm God, and I am going to use the unexpected thing in your life to bring myself glory and to work for your good. So if that's you, remember the gospel. Remember that God used the unexpected death of his son to bring you life and to give us victory. So as Zer sings this song, reach out to a leader, reach out to a pastor, reach out to a friend and say, I've been living in fear. Will you pray that I would walk in faith and trust God, knowing that he's going to use these unexpected things for my good and for his glory, and to prove that he is the one that's at work. So as Zer sings this song, let's respond to God by believing the gospel. Let's do that right now.
You are good, you're good. Oh, 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 you're never gonna let me down. 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 And you're never gonna let me down. And you're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. Is you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. And oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh.
You're awesome. Thank you so much for watching this. Just a couple things that are really exciting on the horizon. We're going to be doing this next week a TikTok competition. So if you want to be featured on Virtual ZOE, make sure that you come up with your most creative TikTok. It could be a dance, it could be something else, just your most creative, funniest, fun, creative, and appropriate TikTok, and send that to us. Send that to P.L.U.R Students, and in the top 5 over the next couple weeks, we're going to feature your TikTok on the Virtual ZOE. You guys are awesome. I'm excited for you to get to connect to your leaders. You're loved. And P.L.U.R Students, you are sent. Peace on ya. See ya.
You take